What's hot? Hey, did you try DMZ? Did you give DMZ a roll?
Yeah. I finished 3 episodes. So I have one more episode left to go. Yeah.
Cool. Does it? I think I'm 2 episodes in.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know you were gonna watch it.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Is it supposed to feel like a movie, like a long movie?
Yes.
4 episodes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
I'm interested.
I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know. I guess the idea was we were gonna review it. So I don't know. Maybe we will at some point.
We'll see. Y'all don't want to see Morbius, so that might be just me coming on solo going, was it good or not?
Well, you'll probably give it a 10. Hey everybody. Welcome to the Heroes World Sidekick Show. I am the less attractive of the duo, Rob Gadet, and with me
don't
is
be like that.
with me is part-time model, full-time jokester.
Model at Falling Over. I just got up 5 minutes ago to do this.
Oh yeah,
podcast.
I forgot we were going to do that bit where you were going to get up. I forgot. That's how we were supposed to start the show. Oh well.
I think too much has happened. I didn't get a new chair, Fraser. So one of the wheels on this chair, like I described in our previous podcast, is crushified. It no longer turns. I don't know if that was the reason why it flipped over.
How's your hip?
I had to get it replaced.
Did you?
It's been replaced with a metal contraption.
Right. It goes clickety clack when you walk now, and you have to walk around with screwdrivers. That's right. Yeah, exactly. With an Allen key. You are very popular at IKEA. Thanks for tuning in. I see Lewis, Sarah, Fraser are all in the chat. So thank you so much for joining us, and for those who are joining after the live show, or if you're listening to us on your, I don't know, whatever your podcast player of choice. Thanks so much. Yes, this is the Heroes World Sidekick Show. If you haven't had an opportunity to subscribe to the YouTube channel, please do so. Lots of great content always coming out, including the Heroes World podcast, the main show with myself, John and Stu. And on this week's episode, we reviewed the Atom Project. For a second there, I kind of forgot, John, but yeah. We did a full review of the Atom Project on Netflix. If you haven't had an opportunity to check out the movie, I suggest you do so. If you haven't had an opportunity to check out the review, go ahead and do that as well.
Yeah, if you saw it, give us your rating out of 10 right now.
Yes,
because I thought it was fantastic. These guys were haters.
No. That is some revisionist history bullshit. And as anybody can tell within the first 7 minutes of that damn review, they know that we were not haters.
Check it out. It was a lot of fun. Someone's calling her up.
No, it's my front door. Somebody's walking past the sensor. Yeah. So anyways, so we've got a lot to talk about tonight. As always, we have what's new in the store up at Heroes World. We also have some what's new in the news with Hey John. And then we are doing a rundown tonight of Spider-Man No Way Home, which just dropped on video on demand services for your purchasing pleasures to watch as often as you would like. And you know what? Like, we haven't, John, in the 2 years we've been doing this, you and I haven't really had an opportunity to talk about current movies in this format. We usually do a review of older movies, genres, and this and that. But we actually have, this only came out 3 months ago, so this is going to be.
It feels like a while ago, eh? It feels like
it does
ago, right?
Yeah. It was December, so this is kind of cool because you know what? Again, we don't usually do this, but because it's like it's the biggest movie still, we just figured, you know what just happened?
There's like a fly or something. I don't know what the hell that was. Don't worry, I'm not gonna take a big swing. Otherwise, I'm gonna take another tumble.
So hopefully you have an opportunity you've had an opportunity to watch it at home, and if not, I'm sure you're one of the 8 billion people who purchase tickets to watch it in theaters. So we will get to that. John, any other bits of housekeeping?
No, yeah. If you're listening to us on the audio, we could use your ratings. So if you're on Spotify or iTunes, hit us up with a rating and review. Same goes for the Heroes World podcast. Helps us get in those algorithms. So should we start rolling with Rob? I think that was all I had to
is that before. English? What are you saying? What?
What? Okay, so should we start rolling?
Oh, there we are. I had no clue what you said, and I was like, "What the hell?"
I said it too fast.
Yeah. And if I just listen, for those who are watching, if I happen to duck out real quickly, it's not because my chair has fallen over. It's because, for whatever reason, about 10 minutes before the show started, I had this wicked bout of nausea come over me. So
You should definitely eat things before their expiry date.
So wait, let me just ask this: is the chicken supposed to be cooked all the way through, or just the top? I'm always confused by that.
Yeah, you just hit the top with a blowtorch. As long as the skin is crispy, you can.
Yeah,
definitely
what's
do
cordon
not eat
bleu?
that chicken.
What is that?
Oh man, I'm terrified when you cut into the chicken leg and a little bit of blood comes out. You're like, oh my god, is this cooked enough? So I'm always afraid to cook chicken other than like chicken wings and like strips for the kids. I'm always like.
I'm always thinking that if you cut into it and there's actually red stuff coming, I actually just thought that was baked in barbecue sauce. I actually didn't realize, John. So great.
Michelle, if this was a $700 chair, I would like to think it wouldn't have like flipped out on me last week. All right, so let's roll. Rob, all right. Brand new stuff. All the new comics are posted on our Facebook and Instagram page every Monday, so check that out. And I'm going to cover a couple of quick fun things, and I got a little game for Rob to play again along our Prices Right knockoff rolls. I do want to mention that a very good friend of ours, Conor McGregor, not that Conor McGregor, is going to be dropping off some art prints for us. So these will be ready in the store very soon. They're all Batman kind of themed. So he did a bunch for the animated stuff. And then he's done a bunch for the 89, the kind of Keaton era. I don't know what you would call it because once you hit forever territory and that kind of stuff, it's no longer called the Keaton era, right? I don't know.
Yeah, the Tim Burton era. Yeah,
Tim Burton. Yeah, that's more accurate. Yeah, Tim Burton era. So he's bringing those in for us. We've worked out a deal for them. So the money is going to help support your local artist and us, your local comic shop. So if you like kind of like the poster style prints, hit me up this week. I'll be posting them very soon. They're really cool. I'm really excited for everyone to check them out. And he's also working on this massive piece, which is Batman's playing poker. So it's all the different Batmans from all the movies around a poker table. So I think that's cool. That's a great piece. I can't wait for him to finish that. So can I show you some cool stuff, Rob?
Yes, as long as you keep your pants on. All right.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We're not playing that kind of game. All right, cool. I'm going to show Rob some cool statues, and we're going to leave the prices for later because we're going to have some fun with those. So, Rob, do you think this is a Joker statue or a Batman statue?
This is a diorama, isn't that? Is this a trick question, John?
No, but look how clear that Joker is. So this is a big Prime Studios or Prime.
I knew it was a Faybox statue. I could tell by the Batman. Yeah.
So this is your boy, Jason Faybock. They did a really nice statue. It did, like Rob said, this is basically a diorama. Like, look at this. You got Batman. It looks like a Batman statue, but that's a lot of Joker you get in there. And then you get like this pit of acid. I don't know if you can pinpoint where you might have seen this image in his comic series. Do you think this is from Three Jokers, or you think this is just a Batman tribute piece? Looks like Joker's origin, maybe. I don't know.
Well, it can't be his origin because he's already the Joker as he's being pushed into it, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're correct, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know. This is definitely not from Three Jokers, not that I'm aware of. And you know what? I will say, when they have been doing some of the statues off of the Three Jokers, they usually will say, as seen in Three Jokers. So
yeah. They like that branding. They're pretty proud of that series. So even the action figures all were branded Three Jokers. So this is a big piece. This is typically 1/3, 1/4 scale when they do these dioramas. I feel like it's more along the 1/4 scale size. So these are big pieces. So keep that in mind later on.
Let me just say though, is that they have been doing, whether it's Prime One, a Sideshow, there's been a lot of Faybock based, like statues based on his art as of late.
Oh,
like that Detective Comics 1000 cover he did with, where Batman is standing on the rooftop and he's holding the cape and the smoke is billowing out. Like they did that. Like they've been doing a lot of Faybock statues. So represent Windsor, Ontario. I'd
be curious to hear what is dissected, like when an artist does a piece for DC or Marvel or whatever. Because we've seen this, a lot of this, they get statues, black and white statues, toys, and all that kind of stuff. I wonder how much like the artist gets back or what's in the contract and things like that. We'll hear of some artists going, "Oh, I didn't know they were doing this," and it's It's like, oh look, you did the cover for this, and it's like, so I'm not sure if they're fully aware of what they're getting compensated for. So hopefully they are getting compensated nicely. But let's keep it rolling. So this is the Bat Cycle to go with the Hot Toys Batman we were talking about. We saw it in the pictures. Yeah, we saw in the pictures, and we knew it was coming. Of course, probably next week I'll be showing you guys a Batmobile. So if you guys haven't seen the Batman yet, I think both me and Rob highly recommend the movie to check it out.
I just saw it again.
If you have seen,
saw it yesterday again.
Look at you! Look at you! I do want to try and squeeze in one more viewing of that, but we'll see. So this is the Bat Cycle from Hot Toys in 1/6 scale. It looks like that little light on the front lights up. It comes with a nice stand. I wonder if you would put any figure other than Batman on here. Not sure. Maybe a Superman would be kind of funny. So let's keep going here. Who's this guy?
Oh, Rob? Dirty Harry. What's going on with
Harry.
the Clint Eastwood? Clint Eastwood's getting redone in all these statue forms.
Yeah. This is another 1/6 scale figure. And I don't know if it was last week or a couple weeks ago, we saw Man with No Name, right, Rob?
Yep.
So this is now Dirty Harry. So I wonder how many of his movies, if they're going to get to, you think they're going to get to Gran Torino, Clint Eastwood?
He'll just be sitting on. It'll be a diorama of him sitting on a porch. You're like, get off my lawn.
With I think he has a wrench in his hand or something like that.
That's right. Yeah,
that's one of the main scenes where he just pulls his belt out and there's like a wrench in it. So I hope that figure does come out. So it's a pretty cool figure. It comes with the trademark Dirty Harry. I don't know, was that a Magnum? I think.
Yep, it's a Magnum.
It was a big deal gun. Yeah, it comes with his
Magnum
badge,
357.
his watch. Yeah. So it's really cool, really iconic.
Like
Even me not having watched a lot of these, I recognize this character. What do you think of the likeness to Clint Eastwood?
Yeah, well, don't forget, like this is 70s Clint Eastwood, right? So yeah, I think it's pretty accurate. Listen, let's just talk about the fact that the mixed media. He's got a dress shirt on, he's got a tie, he's got a sweater, like a wool sweater, plus his jacket. Like that's a lot, you know.
This is a good look, eh?
Well, to me, I'd be sweating. I've worn something similar before, and I've always felt very uncomfortable. But whatever. I love it. I love the details of it. I think it looks great.
Yeah. I think it'll be cool to have a whole shelf of Clint Eastwoods. So now we've got Prime One Studios Peacemaker. So this is one of their bigger statues. I don't know if you can see in the bottom corner there, Rob, the little Starro guy.
Starro.
That's this hilarious. Is definitely, I guess, the movie version. Comes with swappable parts. You can see he comes with different guns. And I guess the Starro has his own little base, which is kind of humorous. And this we showed off a Harley Quinn earlier in the year. So I guess it's to match that statue here. This is Prime Way Studios in combination with Blitzway. So if it's anything like the Harley Quinn one, it will have mixed media as well. So it will probably have, the costume will probably be cloth. Have you fired Peacemaker back up yet, Rob? Or are you saving it for later maybe?
No, you know what? I feel like it would be a really good summer show. Like I feel like I could sit outside by the pool, you know, crack open a cold one and watch it. I feel like that's going to be my summer jam.
Yeah. I think because we just concluded it, maybe we'll wait a second before we go back to it. This is an Iron Studios Superman.
Yeah.
Who should get to the gym, man. Jeez, this guy needs to work out.
Yeah, he's way too many cheeseburgers. This is a really interesting interpretation of the costume, I gotta say.
Yeah. So this guy is jacked. So this is a 1/10 scale Superman. You can see in the picture there, the person holding it up.
4.5 pounds.
Yeah. So it's a pretty cool piece. It's definitely not based off of a movie. It's definitely based off of the comic book interpretations. Could I pinpoint exactly which interpretation?
You know what?
Not quite.
No, but you know what? It looks like an Ed McGuinness type body. Like, you know how McGuinness draws Superman like that? Like,
yeah. He's like giant. Yeah, McGuinness likes to draw Superman as big, giant,
really
like,
bulky
guy. Like, can't scratch his back side.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Can't lift his elbows up.
Right. Yeah, this looks like I'm sure it's not taken off of McGuinness's, but it looks like you look at his calves with the small boots. Like it just looks like an Ed McGuinness inspired artwork.
Oh man, yeah. All right, cool. Thanks, Rob. So I've showed you all these statues. So now we're gonna play a quick game. You ready? You ready for this?
Okay, bud. All right.
So I'm gonna get you to put these in order of least expensive to most expensive. So
least expensive to most. Okay.
Yeah. So you guys can play along at home. So what do you think would be the cheapest?
Bat Cycle.
Bat Cycle. All right, so we need Bat Cycle over here. What do you want? What do you want next?
Bat Cycle. I'm gonna go Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry.
Yeah. Put Batman to the most expensive because I know that.
Batman all the way down here.
Yeah. Superman in between Dirty Harry and Peacemaker.
All right.
Now wait, was Dirty Harry a Hot Toys?
No, it is not a Hot Toys branded product.
Okay. And the Superman statue is Iron Studios, but it's a 1/10, you said?
Yeah,
still
it's
4.5 pounds.
It's their 1/10 scale, but he looked a lot bigger than their usual 1/10 scale.
Yeah, part of me wonders if they call 1/10 the size of him, but they don't include the base in that height. Anyways, I think I'm good with this, John.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you a hint. At least 2 of these items are in the wrong spot.
Okay. Well,
so I don't know if you want to do a switcheroo.
Yeah. Okay. So swap
Just
Dirty Harry and Superman.
Swap Dirty Harry and Superman. All right, we're swapping Dirty Harry for Superman. I don't know if we've ever thought we would say something like that, but we're doing that.
Am I wrong?
Sarah's criticizing the money symbols. It's what fit in the jam board. So otherwise, the post-it notes would have been all different sizes and stuff.
Have I made it worse, John?
It's still wrong, but do you want one more?
Okay,
one
more time.
I'll let you one more switch just so this is more.
Okay, I want.
So
Superman.
Jesse's saying bike. So Jesse's saying bike and Superman swap just to help you out there if you want to take
Yeah, well, I was thinking of putting Dirty Harry front.
Yeah.
Bikes. That's a Hot Toys bike though, and then bike between Superman and Peacemaker.
All right.
Although I don't know if I feel comfortable with that.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if Rob would have won. In The Price is Right, you would have won all these items. I think was what would happen, right? On the Sidekick Show, you just win the respect. So,
oh God,
let's see if Rob's gonna win the respect. So let's go here and let's reveal the first item here. So Dirty Harry, is he the cheapest item? No, it is in fact the Superman. It was $210.
Jeez.
So let's check the second item here. So the second cheapest item here is Dirty Harry. So these actually would have to switch around.
All right.
So if you guys are playing at home, follow along. The Bat Cycle from Hot Toys would have been $315. This big Peacemaker statue with the little Starro in the corner. I think that Starro is what makes it. He is $1,500. This is all U.S. pricing, folks. So if you are into this stuff, you can hit me up and I can set you up and we can work out Canadian pricing and release dates and all that yada yada. So you have a guess at how much this Batman statue is worth?
2,700 USD.
Yeah, 27. Oh, did you get help from the audience? Look at that. 2770. How close is that? That's pretty good. All right, Rob. I think that was pretty
one,
good.
Right? I was less than 100.
No, because you got one thing wrong, you get nothing.
Nothing. You get nothing.
Absolutely. What was that? UHF? I think.
Yeah, you're so stupid. The wheel of fish. I choose what's in the box, mommy. I choose what's in the box. She chooses the box. Way to go, Weaver. You chose the snapper.
I don't know if that movie's going to stand the test of time. If it's streaming on something, definitely let us know, folks. We would love to watch it. But thank you for playing with us, everybody. I hope anyone who got that right at home, good for you. I've got no prizes for you, but you got my respect. So, Rob, let's kick it to you with the news. I think you said
is that worth anything, John?
What
is your respect worth anything?
Yes, sometimes the respect is worth more than the cash, right?
Ooh,
according to Paul Walker, right?
I'll take the cash.
You take the cash anyway.
I'll take the cash. Screw your respect. Hey, John. Hey, buddy. Hey, John. Did you know that there was
come on over, Sarah, and I'll call the pizza when you guys get it.
Hey, John. Did you know that there was a Resident Evil live action series coming to Netflix?
Get out of town.
How well did that
How well did that movie do? Did
That
I
movie
miss
was
something?
like a fart in the wind. It came and went, and you were like, "What? What was that?" I smelled something funny, and it left really quickly. I'm actually surprised it never hit any streaming services by now, because that came out in like November and it was gone within a week. However, there is a Resident Evil TV series dropping on Netflix starting July the 14th. 8 episodes will be available to inject into your ocular cavities if you so choose. The only person that stands out to me in that cast,
there was a new one. Yes, there was.
yeah, there was Robbie Amell. The
It was
only
called
person
like Welcome to Raccoon City or something like that.
It was,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
The only person in this cast that stands out is Lance Reddick. If you're a fan of The Wire or Fringe or even the John Wick series, you can see him there.
He was the concierge, right?
Yes, he was. All right. Hey, John. Do you remember when you said that you were a huge fan of Kentucky Fried Chicken? And like once when we were at the store, I was like eating a salad and you were eating an 8-piece meal. It was weird. And you said,
I love KFC, by the way.
I was eating the salad being good. And you're like, man, I wonder what the story is with this Sanders guy. Well, wonder no more, John. My finger licking good friend, which sounds a lot dirtier than I meant it to. Anyways,
I'm waiting for Sarah's comment so I can pop it on the screen, but I think she's a little behind on this.
A movie based on the life of Mr. Colonel Sanders is on the way. KFC, as it's now known, has about 6,000 locations worldwide. So I guess there is an audience who will be intrigued by the mustachioed man. No release date has been announced, but it is being worked on, John. Is this something that would interest you? Do you want to see a movie about Colonel Sanders, who, by the way, resided for a fair amount of his later years in Mississauga, Ontario? Is this and he also was not a colonel in any army? Is this something that you are interested in seeing, or are you just kind of like, what the hell are we doing with this?
That's the type of thing where it's like, if I bought a movie ticket to it, I'd be like, I should have just bought a bucket of chicken instead.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like it can be covered in a YouTube video, but shout outs to this humorous video that Mario Lopez did. I think it was like a year or two ago, which was like a rom-com of some sort. With a KFC. Sure, Rob, are you gonna buy day one tickets?
Nope, I shall not. I couldn't give a flying fart. Listen, unless they bring back Toonie Tuesdays, I'm out. Hey, John, remember when you were eating that 8-piece of KFC, flipping through your copy of Marvel Comics #1, and you got
I'm still hungry though. Did I really eat an 8-piece?
And you got grease like all over the pages, and you seem to not care. Well, dum-dum, you should have, because the first ever Marvel comic was just sold at auction for a whopping, John, $2.4 million.
$2.4 million.
That's right. Yeah. So
what's
there you go.
going on the cover of this book, by the way, Rob? Is it like a gun? A guy pointing a gun at a guy stepping out of a flaming
demon
hole?
who's coming out. Oh, well, I thought it was a crevice of some sort. It looks familiar from visiting the Zanzibar. I gotta say, John, I have to pull some of these pictures I've been seeing recently. Somebody was selling a copy of the back page of I think it was Detective Comics, like the first Batman appearance, and the page, it was like it on the CGC thing, it said NC, no cover. It was just the back page, but it was ripped, and that went for something like $27,000. Like
a single page, like just
the back cover, and the cover was ripped. Like a quarter of the cover of the back page cover was gone, and that went for like 27,000 or whatever it was. And then somebody else was selling, John. Apparently, they used to have in the back in the day on Action Comics #1, like they had the date, like it was like a sticker box. Somebody has that sticker and they put it in a CGC case, and that sold for like 10,000 or something, because it's the first sticker from Action Comics. Anyways, my wife is like, "What are you doing with all those comics on your wall? Like, just sell them." And I'm like, "I know."
No, you gotta wait. You gotta tell the amount of time that passed between Action Comics #1 and when it's sold.
She doesn't care, John. Doesn't care. I'm waiting for that new X-Men to come out, and I'll drop that Wolverine #1 and sell, and and I'll buy one of those statues. Hey, John, this week sees the release of the Halo TV series on Paramount Plus. And of course, there's obviously a lot of interviews being done to promote the show. Showrunner Stephen Kane stated recently that he and his team purposefully avoided looking at the video games that inspired the series. Quoting Kane, we didn't look at the game. We didn't talk about the game. We talked about the characters in the world, so I never felt limited by it being a game. So this is a show that will definitely not be a beat-for-beat adaptation. John, and to those in the chat, what do you guys think about this? Should the movie or showrunners be faithful to source material, or should they avoid being limited by it? What's your personal preference? I want to say I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer. I think it's interesting. There's two schools of thought on this. What do you guys think?
Yeah. In this particular case, for me personally, it doesn't matter because I never got around to Halo story mode. But in general, I feel like the safest bet is to piggyback off that existing audience to satisfy them and hopefully maybe make it at least appealing to the other ones. I don't know if I would ever, in like if I was the one calling the shots or whatever, I don't know if I would ever just go, let's do something completely different. I feel like that's something you save for later down the road, right? When a property becomes more established, it has multiple formats of the original source out there, and then you're like, let's have some fun and let's do the Star Wars Visions or the whatever, the what if version or some other weird spin-off. So it's an odd choice for me, but maybe they tried it the other way. Maybe they put together and wrote a whole bunch of pilots. Like how old is Halo as a property, right, Rob? Like, and
the original Xbox was 2000 and I think it's 2004, right? Like, is that?
Yeah. So since 2004, it's been almost 20 years, and they haven't been able to put something together. So maybe this was the best way that they could do it. And you could just go, hey, let's just create something in the Halo universe, do something new, and catch new people. And if they happen to like it, then we've got these Halo games on the back burner. Because Halo games, like, there is a new Halo. There happens to be a new Halo right now. But we did see Uncharted come out, and there was no new Uncharted game at the time, right?
No.
So it's kind of like you've already missed where it's the hottest. You've already missed Halo 2, 3, 4, or Reach, or wherever you think Halo was the hottest at its high point. So sure, I guess maybe you go somewhere else. I don't know. What were your thoughts?
It's interesting because listen, at the end of the day, you're not going to please everybody. There's always going to be one side of the coin or the other who are going to be pissed off, right? People want the faithful adaptation, and then they get let down because it's like, wait, that's not how it is. Come on, and so there's always going to be creative license, some creative freedom. Some things don't translate from one medium to the next. We've seen this countless of times, right? Not to say that you can't have, like, I'm going to use an example. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, the movie versus the book. I read the book when I was in high school, and I loved it. I watched the movie, and I enjoyed it as well. It was, expertly done, but there's obviously, for me, there was a lot better. It was a better flow. There's a lot more information in the book. You want to do something more recent? The Martian. Martian was a pretty good adaptation of the book, but again, you're leaving some stuff on the floor. The flip side being the Lord of the Rings. And I might be getting trolled for this down the road. It's okay. The Lord of the Rings books are atrociously long and boring as fuck. But the movies, some would say the same. However, the movies are a lot more easily enjoyable and approachable. So I just think that when you're doing these beat by beat adaptations, you're either really going to, I think it's a harder mark to hit on a beat by beat adaptation, as opposed to saying, hey, we understand the world exists and we want to play in the world of the sandbox. We don't want to be limited to the very storylines that kind of got us here. So I think that's, I'm paraphrasing the show like Stephen Kane by saying that, but I think that's really what he's meaning is that, these games, there's a storyline and everything exists, but we're not going to follow that. It's a giant universe we want to play in. So we're kind of taking the idea of Halo, the properties, and we're adapting it to these original stories. And I think that that's okay to do. I think we as fans just have to be open to it, but that's just, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I guess our most recent comparison would be Jack Reacher as well. They did take quite a few changes and twists and turns in that first season, which I was pretty happy with. But that's a gamble, right? So when you start changing things around, so maybe you want to go completely new. So we'll see. That's going to drop this week, right, Rob?
Yeah, Wednesday. It's coming out on Wednesday. And so you can anticipate that John, Stu, and myself will have reviewed it and have our thoughts on the Heroes World podcast coming up later this week. And finally, John, some interesting news out of the UK today for all you Whovians out there. Now, John, I know that you're not a big fan of Doctor Who, but this year marks the 60th anniversary of the show premiering. And current Doctor Jodie Whittaker will be taking her final bow as she regenerates into... Well, if rumors are to believe, John, none other than Hugh Grant.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Grant may be stepping into the TARDIS.
Loved him in Love, actually.
We do have to take this as a large rumor because, aside from James Bond casting, the role of who takes up the mantle as a Doctor is always hotly debated and guessed upon. But those in the chat and yourself, John, would Hugh Grant as a Doctor make you want to tune into the show? And just so you know, breaking news, literally 12 minutes ago, Hugh Grant tweeted, "Nothing against Dr. W, but I'm not. No idea where the story came from." So he's saying he's not in talks, but who knows?
But we've seen this happen many times with the Marvel, especially the Marvel casting.
Tatiana Maslany with She-Hulk.
No, nothing to do with it. Next week, confirmed She-Hulk.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks. Way to throw us off there. So number one, very unflattering picture of our good friend.
Yes.
I would actually check it out. I actually love this guy in a lot of the movies he's been in. He's pretty humorous. He's always super charming. So it would definitely make me, I don't know how long Doctor Who's been around, but
60 years, John.
Yeah, the first and only time. Hey, I don't retain information at all.
Yeah.
So don't criticize me with that. I'm totally listening. I just don't retain anything.
Right. Okay.
But, do you have a favorite Hugh Grant movie before we move on from this? Or before I hear how excited you are?
Favorite Hugh Grant movie. You know what?
What's the movie where he was
in The Gentleman?
Yeah. The Gentleman.
He was hilarious in The Gentleman. I thought that was, he was funny in 9 Months. 4 Weddings and a Funeral. With a big fan of that as well.
Yeah, I like his other his comedies, especially when he's working with I think there's one called About a Boy, I think, which was really funny. And then
I swear to God, I thought you were gonna say Notting Hill with Julia Roberts. I thought that would. Bullshit. I think that's your favorite Hugh Grant movie.
No, my favorite Hugh Grant movie is there's one where he's like a pop star, and he's kind of like falling out of favor, and he's got someone like trying to help him get back in, and the song is like "Pop Goes My Heart" or something like that. I don't remember what it's called. You don't remember what it's called? I thought you would know what that's called. All right, anybody in the chat? "Pop Goes My Heart." Look it up on YouTube and let me know what movie that's from, because that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so you're excited for this? You would be down with this as a Whovian, as you self-described yourself?
Well, that's what they call the fan base. So here's the thing. So the show was on hiatus from 1989. It came back in 2005 with Russell T Davies, who rebooted the whole thing. Christopher Eccleston was in that reboot year, and then David Tennant. And that's really kind of when the fandom started to really kind of escalate, especially here in North America. Because before, John, you could only get it on like TVO or PBS stuff. Like it was really hard to get those shows. And it became a mainstay in San Diego Comic-Con and everywhere else. Right. So it has obviously, kind of dropped quite a bit, I think, from where it was in the Matt Smith era, David Tennant era. But Russell T Davies is coming back to helm the show. So, okay. There's a lot of rumors that, the 60th anniversary is this, I believe it's November, and, the BBC are doing something. We may not see the new Doctor, and we don't know what will happen, next year. But would I be interested in Hugh Grant? Listen, I think it'd be stunt casting. I think you'd probably see him for one season. If it's just to pull eyeballs in, I don't know if we really need that. For whatever reason, this current iteration of the Doctor hasn't been very popular. I don't know if it's because it's a woman. I don't know. I think it's okay. But the writing seems to be a bit off. So if you're going to redo the whole thing and bring back Russell T Davies, and fine, I'm okay with it being anybody. I don't really give a shit to be who it is, as long as the stories are good.
To be who it is.
To be who it is.
Well played. Well played. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It was on fire at one point. Literally, it was people would come to the store asking for. It would be like Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who. It became like one of the big things, and then all of a sudden it just kind of disappeared and faded away. So music and lyrics. Thank you, Fraser.
Yeah,
Great
I
movie.
think what happened was Matt Smith, he left the show and they brought in Peter Capaldi, and the thinker. He was the thinker in the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's Suicide Squad last year. Great actor, but exceptionally older than what Matt Smith was. And I think, unfortunately, the younger fans just kind of tuned out seeing an old white guy in the role. And I think they were hoping with the first female Doctor, it would bring eyeballs back. I don't know if it has or not. So has the ship sailed on that property? No, it's cyclical. It still has its fan base. It will come back around. Will Hugh Grant be the person to bring it in? If you're looking for a younger fan base, John, I don't think people really care if it's Hugh Grant, to be honest with you. So let's just bring some good stories back in, and we'll see where it goes. But that, John, is the new Who's.
All right. Thank you, Rob. That was awesome. I'm down with you, Grant. So let's go. Music and lyrics. We'll do that next episode. Rob, we want to dive into our guy, your favorite movie of 2021.
Yeah. Wait, are we doing No Time to Die tonight? Are we doing Dune?
Oh, really? No Time to Die and Dune overtake Spider-Man in your favorite of 2021?
You know what? It's a very good question, because I think I really like our movie for tonight, but I gotta say, like, Dune, it still has me, man. Like, I wish Scott would. Okay. I wish Scott was around, but Dune.
Is it gonna kick you in the nuts?
Yes, yeah. Dune really, it has me, man. I can't recommend that. Listen, I own it on Blu-ray. I have a 4K copy, a digital copy, and I saw it just dropped on Crave, and I'm like, oh my god, and I'll put it on again. So, like, yeah, for whatever reason, man, that movie has got me. Is it my favorite? I don't know, but we're here to talk about Spider-Man: No Way Home, everybody. So hopefully those in the chat have had an opportunity to check it out. Whether it was in theater or whether, as John and I had mentioned, it came a week early onto video on demand. So I picked up a copy through iTunes, which is my preferred method of digital purchasing. And so I know that
you got a 4K version, right?
Yeah.
Is that exclusive to iTunes? I don't buy these high-end, high-res copies. So
I don't know if Google Play has 4K. I don't know if the Google Store does or not. I don't know. I have no idea. I will say though, John, like, the problem with, like, okay, so it's 4K, but is it really truly 4K? Like, you have to have like a really high stream. I have a good streaming package of the out in my area, the top one that Bell has, but is it really 4K? Or, if I was to get a 4K player plus the 4K disc, would it be even more? Who cares? So John,
is there any way to know if you can I can't think of a streaming service that really allows you to download, does Apple TV allow you to not stream it, but download it to your player or whatever, right?
No,
I know you can do it on your iPads and things like that on Netflix.
But you can't download it to your Apple TV. So
yeah. So it's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, it's too bad you can't. I don't know why you can't. That is, yeah. Interesting, John. Okay. So and Lewis is going to be kicked out of the chat. It was good to see you, Lewis. All right, I have a rundown for you,
Gordon
John.
says, yeah, that's interesting. Gordon says it's not uncompressed 4K, so it's interesting. So when you get your physical copy, maybe run them back to back and report back to us if you notice a difference. Be an interesting, thing to know. I'm sure it's online, but I'd rather hear it from the horse's mouth.
Horse's mouth. Yeah. Nay. All right, John. Spider-Man: No Way Home. The final film in the Home trilogy following Homecoming and Far From Home. No Way Home had a budget of $200 million and is currently sitting at $1.88 billion and still climbing at the box office, John. I think it just made it still.
It's still in theaters right now.
It made $3.2 million this past weekend. Released on December 17th, 2021, this film, like its predecessors, was directed by John Watts, who will be helming a forthcoming Fantastic Four movie. Let me see. Critic score is currently at 93% and the 98% audience score. Listen, here's the reality, John. We're dealing with one of the biggest movies of the last decade here. It just dropped 3 months ago. We all know who's in it. We all know what this is all about. So let's just screw the rundown and let's just get into it. Spider-Man: No Way Home, John. Is this your favorite Spidey movie?
Yeah, but we already know my problem is I always like the newest thing. So I think Rob, this is probably your third time seeing it now. I think you saw it twice in theaters. Correct me if
I
I'm
was
wrong.
trying to remember if I saw it 2 or 3 times in theaters.
I
And
know
I
you saw
can't
it at least twice.
I did
You
see
saw
it
an
twice. It was
emergency watch before things were potentially closing down, and then you saw it again.
So I only saw it. You're right. I saw it on the Thursday as an emergency. Like I pulled the ripcord and we had to get the hell out of there quick. And then I saw it on the Saturday. So yeah, I saw it twice in theaters. I've seen it twice since owning it, since last Tuesday.
Yeah. So this is your so you've
I've
watched
seen it
up to
4 times.
Four times. Holy crap! So I've only seen it twice. So since you've watched it way more times than me,
Just 2 more times.
Does this movie so
Yes.
way more times? And you guys in the comments, let us know if this is your first time watching it or if you've rewatched it multiple times. I don't know if you've topped Rob's record at the moment. But yeah, we gotta let Rob and Gord like dive into this 4K nonsense one day. But Rob, does this movie lose anything on the rewatch once the surprises and all the glitz and glamour, like shockers and all that kind of stuff are gone? Does this movie still hit as hard as it does the first time?
Now that is a very interesting question because this is the one thing that I've been really was struggling with. When we've done movie reviews, John, we've talked about, and you've brought it up a lot, the audience, like they're watching a movie in a theater, adds.
Yeah, the experience, yeah.
The experience adds. And the experience of seeing, and guys and girls, like we're talking Spider-Man No Way Home. The assumption is you've already seen this movie. It's 3.5 months old.
Oh yeah, sorry, spoilers.
So if we're going to do spoilers here, like, for those listening, if you still have not seen No Way Home, then just come back. But I'm assuming you have. So the experience of seeing the reveal of Andrew Garfield first in Ned's Lola's house is the audience went crazy. Now my son reminded me on the Thursday we saw it. Some people clapped. On the Saturday, people went nuts. And I'm sure we've all seen the YouTube reaction videos of people in theaters recording and people going crazy seeing Garfield protrude through the circle. And then, of course, protrude. And then Tobey Maguire. Does that hold up? And I got to say, I think the third time, like when I first saw it, I was like, wow, that was still pretty cool. But I missed the explosion of excitement. We all knew it was happening. Like leading into the movie, John, we all knew they were going to be there. They hid them in the marketing, but we knew. But still seeing it with other people, it was so cool. Being at home, you do miss that. Now, is it again because I've seen it twice and 3 times and 4 times? Like it's not hitting the same amount, probably. But I will say this as a comparison, John, the scene in Avengers: Infinity War, when Thor creates Stormbreaker and you cut back to Wakanda and they're all getting their asses kicked and it looks like they're, all the creatures are on the Hulkbuster and all of a sudden the sky opens up and the Rainbow Bridge comes down and all of a sudden you see Stormbreaker flying through the air, taking out the armies. I get chills just thinking about it, John. Like that scene when Thor and Groot and Rocket land and he grabs Stormbreaker and he's like, bring me Thanos. And then the Hulk is like, Bruce Banner's like, you guys are all screwed now. And you see him like that scene gets me every time, whether it was in the theater or seeing it at home. Again, I just I've got goosebumps thinking about it. I love that scene. It hits. I don't know. I feel like the guy from Dave Chappelle. I'm like, give it more of that, like mainline it into my veins. So that's my bar in which I'm judging these things. And unfortunately, as much as I love that reveal of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, it doesn't have the same weight as when I saw it in the theaters.
Yeah, so maybe you're fatigued because 4 times. On my second viewing, even though I knew it was coming, I still got emotional when I saw Andrew Garfield rip off the mask and Tobey Maguire just kind of like walk onto the screen. So I think the movie, even if you and I was hoping we could get someone who maybe knew all the kind of like spoilers and things and still watched it anyways. I feel like it still is a joy to watch, even if you know it was coming. Like
right.
If you know these 3 Spider-Mans are showing up, even when I saw it in theaters, I was like, it didn't hit me till it hit me, right? Till he showed up. I was like, oh yeah, wait, there's other Spider-Mans in this movie, and I knew this, like it was spoiled before, or we all knew that it was going. So Yeah, so I think it still hits, but I would suspect after 3 or 4 times, I might not be as enamored by it. But
I still
overall,
love it. But
yeah, the movie on overall in the movie on rewatch, missing, maybe not that you've seen it so many times, but missing the reveals. You think this movie gets a 93, 94, whatever, because of these surprise reveals, or you think it's still the performances and the way the story comes together still warrants it to get this high of a rating?
Yeah, you know what, John? I got to say, so yes, so we're talking about that one scene, but as a I pick up so many other things upon rewatching it. Like, I feel I am more emotionally attached to the Aunt May scene at home than I was in the theater. Do you know what I'm saying? So like that's the flip side of this whole entire thing is that I was watching that scene in the theater and you felt it, but being at home in the confines of your home, you have your lights off or whatever, and you're really like you are right there.
Yeah.
More so than hearing somebody munching on their popcorn, right? So so that for me like really hit well. Like there's like this is a great movie. The one thing
before you go next, one thing before I don't know if you went through the same thing I did before Aunt May gets killed. I don't know if in your head you were like, I know exactly what happens, but for some reason I wish it's not gonna happen, and maybe somehow this movie will change and she'll survive. I don't know if you ever had that go through your head, or in any movie if that's ever happened, you'd be like, I know exactly what's gonna happen, but I wish it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I remember when she first got hit with the glider, and then she was like, "Okay, I'm fine." Like when I saw it the first time in the theater, and in my back of my head, I'm thinking, "Oh fuck, she's like gonna die," and I was like, "There's no way." And then when she gives that speech about great power, because we've never seen that in this MCU Spider-Man, we've never had. First of all, we didn't have an origin, which is fine. We don't need it. We never had the Uncle Ben issue. They've never really mentioned him whatsoever. And so, but then for her to be the one that give that speech, that's what gets you right in the feels. I'm like, oh no. Yeah. And then when she drops, like, oh man, like that, right? So yeah, like that kind of, even though you kind of knew it was coming, it shocked the shit out of me. Yeah. Because I was hoping that Happy would get up there and start applying pressure. And
You're like, maybe it'll change this time. This fourth viewing is the time that somehow this is being altered in my mind, and I remembered it incorrectly. But since we're already on this tangent, I did have the what you thought was the most heartbreaking moment of this movie. So since we're already talking about Aunt May's death, folks, if you have a part of this movie that made you really sad, let us know in the comments. Rob, you want to hear my nominations for these for the saddest moments in the movie? All right, so Death of Aunt May, 100% is up there.
Okay.
There's a moment when Peter is alone on the rooftop and his friends find him when MJ and Ned are like, "Oh, I know exactly where he went," and they just kind of come and they hug him. I'm actually getting kind of sad thinking about it now. And then the other Spider-Mans come and tell their stories. That's like a really emotional moment. And then of course Peter 3. I don't know if we're going to call him Peter 3 or Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, when he saves MJ and just kind of like the look on his face when he's holding her there, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And then she looks at him and she's like, "Are you okay?" And you just see him there, and you're just like, and you can feel that all these things going through him, like it's kind of crazy. And then everything else kind of like revolves around the whole mind wipe. So the fact that right before he does it, Doctor Strange is like, "Kid, like none of us I'm not gonna remember you. No one's gonna remember you," right? Like when Doctor Strange, who plays it off as this tough guy, the whole movie is kind of like, "Kid, you're making like the ultimate sacrifice here," and I'm telling you right now. And then everything that follows that, the repercussions of the mind wipe, and then the sneak moment. I thought I was done because I was like, "Oh, I'm making all this list of stuff," and then there's a point where Peter walks away from MJ, where he realizes, "Hey, you know what? She might be better off like not knowing me." Shoves the note in his pocket, and then goes, "All right, see you later," and walks out. So what was the most gut-wrenching moment for you, or is there something that I missed on this list?
No, you've actually nailed everything, man. Everything that I was thinking, and then I was like, "Oh, he said it. Oh, he said it. You've got it all." I mean, Sushi Boops, and Michelle both, talked about the end of the scene when Peter walks into the donut shop, right, and he sees Ned, and you could just tell, like it's.
Like so many moments of that scene, like she waves and she thinks he's waving to him, and then she looks back and it's Ned behind him. Yeah. And then she brings him the donut and they're kind of talking. Like, imagine if that ever happened to you. Like, imagine if we had the mind wipe here, and you're on the show with all our friends and stuff, and I'm in here like watching from the sidelines, going, "Oh man, I used to be a part of this, but now I'm going to walk away because it's safer for everyone." Like that's just a crazy notion to walk away from these friends that you grew up with. So
I think though, John, like the connection that MJ and Peter have, and you hope that you could tell there's still that spark left. If you were to leave, I would still always remember it'd be a shadow of a memory, but of a fool falling out of his chair. Like, that would be our connection thread. That would go between time and space, John. That's how we would connect.
Didn't I used to have someone else on this show that fell out of his chair?
Wait, I keep like doing this. I feel like something happens when I do this.
Gordon says the look on Andrew Garfield's face after he saves MJ. Yeah, you can really feel it. Like, I feel like a lot of these little things, and especially on the first watch, I feel like I didn't get attached to these moments as much because you're too busy. All this shit is just like flying around and stuff like that. So I didn't think this movie that had this much action would have me making a list of the most emotional parts that I went through this roller coaster of a movie. So yeah, everyone. Yeah, thanks everyone for the comments. Yeah, the lonely. Yeah, so it feels like the kind of like the consensus is a lot of people.
Not an introvert. Give me a break.
I feel like that. Yeah, people like. I don't know if it's because it hits later in the movie than when Aunt May passes away, but for some reason I feel like that is the scene that's going to hit most for people because that is like, you know what though, I think
tied with that though, yeah, right, and that's what changes him from being Tony Stark's Spider-Man to his own Spider-Man. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's his growth moment. But I think tied with that is Garfield saving MJ. And because it's the exact same fall, right? And Tom Holland Peter can't get to her, and and the look of sadness because he couldn't say, and he's been carrying that guilt because he says, like, I lost somebody. He's been carrying that guilt.
Which is crazy because they elevate that movie in which that seed is not super earned in that movie. You're like, oh, all of a sudden they're gonna kill Gwen in this movie. Right. And you're like, oh, it's not quite there yet. Like, you guys haven't cooked it long enough. You haven't cooked this relationship long enough that you have earned this point. But this movie,
I always thought that would have been in like the third movie. I never expected that they would have killed her off in the second. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Okay, so now since we're backtracking, who and everybody let us know in the comments who was your favorite new and improved villain. So who came back that was your absolute
Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe takes it. Like, with respect to Melina, with respect to Jamie Foxx, I think I'm glad that Jamie Foxx got a redux. He got a new skin. He re-upped and he leveled up and got a new skin. And I'm happy for him. But man, Willem Dafoe, like, here's the thing about this movie, like, is that all of these villains came back and then were pumped with like Venom or something like from the Batman universe and got them even like bigger. Like they literally got like a shot of adrenaline and steroid use and became that much more of a villain, of a character in this movie than they did in their other movies. And I get the passage of time and everything else. But man, Willem Dafoe was.
Oh, he gets to play like the lost Norman Osborn, and then he gets to play the deranged Green Goblin. Like, he goes full in both sides, like really, really good, and like he gets some wicked scenes. Like two of the main action scenes are him kicking Spider-Man's ass. Like, I don't know if you have a favorite moment from the fight at the end. There's a moment just as an aside. There's a moment where Tom Holland webs his foot and then slams him into the ground. Like, I thought that was like, and then there's so many other just great kind of spider webby moves. Do you have a runner up since Willem Dafoe was like the unanimous winner?
I liked the story arc that Melina went through because he came back and he was a sense of redemption. But I will say that I thought that as much as I really, Melina is meant to be like that kind of bordering both worlds because he's like the villain and yet he's the guy that ends up saving them at the end of the day. But I got to give it to Jamie Foxx as well. I will say that some of the lines that Jamie Foxx was saying, he didn't sell me on it. I was like, wow, this is like really bad. Like, I don't know if it's his ad-libbing. I don't know if it's, but it felt weird, but his costume and everything else about him, like when he was talking about the power and that he liked feeling this power, he became a lot more like he was a whole different Electro. At least with Alfred Molina, you could tell that there was still some Doc Ock. Like he was another version of himself, right? Just again, like Willem Dafoe, just amped up. But in this version of Electro, he wasn't Max, the bumbling idiot. He wasn't the guy who just got this power. He just wanted the power to be elevated like Spider-Man. This Electro wanted to like destroy people. Like he became a proper villain in this movie. So
when he leveled up and he was like just going crazy with the electric powers, he definitely shone there. But I can see what you're saying. I think he got to be a little too Jamie Foxx at some point, which is which we all know he's a really cool dude. So maybe he played the cool dude card a little too much, kind of like saying just this too slick of a funny of a line. But it looks like the unanimous runner-up is Molina as Doc Ock, which I think was really good, and especially the whole turn at the end when he kind of turns out to be on their side. You're like, oh, he's grabbing everybody, and you're like, oh my god, he's a bad guy again, and then you're like, oh no, he's actually a good guy. So I think that was great.
Are you going to talk about the action scenes at all?
Yeah. So let's go. Let's jump to action scenes, and I feel like there's only 3 major ones. Like, I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Rob. So first one is Spidey versus Doctor Strange in the Mirror Universe, which is a spectacular scene that now that I got to watch it at home on digital. And then they jump to Happy's condo or apartment, the big showdown where all the villains turn on him. And then we're already right into the ending. We're into the Statue of Liberty fight. So I feel like there's not anything really in between there that is like.
Well, the beginning though was Doc Ock versus Spidey on the bridge. And I think even like the Spider-Man scene when he first takes the box and out on Bleecker Street right before they jump into the Mirror Universe was a pretty cool scene. So I guess you're right.
That was a great scene. Yeah, he gets pushed out of the thing and then he's like,
he's like, how are you doing this? He goes, I don't know. I gotta say this though about Tom. Like, first of all, Tom Holland's Spider-Man has seriously, like, I know that everybody's like, oh, Maguire was my first my Spider-Man, or Andrew Garfield's my Spider-Man. Having seen all of these in the theaters, one could say Nicholas Hammond was probably our first Spider-Man, John, from the 70s and 80s TV show. But Tom Holland is just a different level over those 2 other guys. And I don't know if it's the passage of time. There's not really a lot of difference between the Amazing Spider-Man movies with Garfield and then, like, in terms of time, and then the MCU with Civil War and all that. But the level of like acrobatics that Tom Holland does in this, his fight scenes with Willem Dafoe, particularly in the condo and at the end, like on the shield, like it was like wrestling moves. Like we've never seen Spider-Man fight and move like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they were suplexing each other through like floors, using his webs, as you said, to grab him. Like he was webbing Goblin and then pulling him closer and then like elbowing him in the face. Like the fight choreography in this is just so different than what we've seen before. And I really, when I first saw it in the theater, it was like, oh, it was like crazy. You always like, like that. But watching it at home, I was like, holy shit, like they really went for it. Like you could tell some of it was a bit of wire work, like when he picks up Defoe and he suplexes him on the body. Like, okay. So you could tell some of that looked a little bit too wire worky for me, but like we never got that. And so it's so funny because I don't think if Garfield had stepped into an MCU role, it wouldn't be the same. Tobey Maguire couldn't do the physicality that we're seeing in this. And then you go back and watch these other movies and you realize that Tom Holland just brings that plus more to this role.
I think it's part of what we talked about Uncharted and things like that. People just wanted to see more of Tom Holland doing his thing. So I think Uncharted benefited from this heat check or whatever, or like carryover from Spider-Man. Everyone wanted to check it out. Do you think the action scenes basically all just ramped up? Like I totally missed the Doc Ock one, but is it just because it's Doc Ock and then that's topped by Mirror Universe, then that's topped by Happy's condo, and then that's topped by the whole ending sequence at the Statue of Liberty? Like, does it just keep going up and up?
Yeah, maybe. Somebody mentioned in chat the one the fight with Electro, the black suited Spider-Man, with Sandman. In the field. We've kind of forgot.
Yeah, forgot about that one. Yeah. I feel like just every action scene just topped the other. So the most craziest rewatchable action scene is definitely the end where the three spiders are teaming up like Avengers and working together and all that kind of stuff, right?
So here's something I wanted to ask you, and those in chat, let me know. That end scene is all at nighttime.
Yeah.
I don't know why they put these big action scenes in night. I don't know if it's just easier to do visualization on them or what. But do you think it would have been a better watch had it been set during the daytime?
No, I think it worked. They had the technology was there. I think it had to be at nighttime with so many things going on. Like if you saw bright as day, all the characters coming in at the Spider-Mans, and it was nice and sunny out. But they played it smart. They transitioned into a sunset for him to fight Green Goblin. If he fought Green Goblin in the dark, yeah, maybe we would have been like, yeah, this is not quite it.
It was a sunrise.
What the light was there. Yeah. So if that was pitch black, him fighting Green Goblin, we might have been like, hey, this movie's the whole, why is everything in the dark, right? They kind of trick you. So now you're gonna think that scene was during the day, but you're like, oh no, it just ended when the light was out. So I don't know. I'm fine with it. Were you having issues with your 4K viewing?
No. It was just it's just one of those things, right? Like
that would be fun. Yeah, Jesse makes a good point. You wouldn't see like Electro would have just been a guy floating in the air.
Yeah, and we already had one of those, Doctor Strange. Okay, so what else do you have for your stuff on your list?
All right. Whose fault is all this? Is it Doctor Strange's fault or Tom Holland's Spider-Man
it's Doctor Strange's fault. He's an idiot.
I feel like he made this ill-advised idea, and he's kind of like just not taking things seriously. And he's like, "Oh, what if we just do this spell?" And then Wong's like, "That spell's not a good." And then he's like, "Remember the time?" And then he's like, "No, I don't." He's like, "Exactly." Yeah. And then he goes and does a spell.
You jump. Okay, so imagine you go to your financial advisor and you're like, "Hey, I'd like to buy a stock in the Gord Milne company." And you're like, "I don't know." And your stockbroker is like, "Yeah, sure." And all of a sudden, Sarah comes up and says, "No, I wouldn't buy stocks in that. Remember the last that stock? It's penny stocks." And the other guy's like, "Yeah, remember we spent $100, we got back 120." You're like, "No," like exactly. And then all of a sudden you're like, "I don't know if we should do it." And he's like, "Well, let's go ahead and do it." And all of a sudden the stock tanks, and he's like, "It's your money. You wanted to buy it." And you're like, "But you're the financial advisor. You're the guy who's supposed to tell me if this is a good idea or not."
Not a good idea to buy that right before this. Jesse makes a good point. It's Wong's fault because he is the Sorcerer Supreme, and he basically just bails. He walks off.
He does say, he's like, "I don't want to know about it," and out he goes.
No, he's like, "Don't involve me."
Yeah,
so it's kind of like he gave them the okay, but he just bailed, right? He probably should have said, "No, don't cast that spell," which I think was one of the misdirects they put in the trailer. That Wong's like, "Don't cast that spell." Yeah, so Fraser agrees 100%. Strange's fault. Lewis says it's Tom's fault. Michelle says it's Mysterio's fault.
It just the whole thing, because I mean, this is, I guess, the one thing I don't understand. Why can Strange, once you start a spell, why do you have to I don't know why you can't just stop it? And then he's like, and then he tells them, "You guys screwed up." He's sitting around with his coffee. He goes, "You guys screwed up. You Scooby-Doo this shit." And it's like, I don't know. It just, I'd be like, if I just spilled, cereal all over the floor, my kids are like, "What happened?" I'm like, you figured it out. You guys clean it up, and I'm out.
You figured it out. Don't use the vacuum for this, or maybe use it, but don't involve me. And it's like, exactly. You just destroyed my vacuum. Since the whole chat is going on a tangent, Deadpool 3, a good question by Jesse. Which of these three Spider-Man would you pick to show up in Deadpool 3? And you can't cheat and pick all of them. And most, I think a
picked
lot of the
Nicholas
people in the
Hammond.
chat.
Nicholas
Yeah?
Hammond from the original 1978 Spider-Man CBS. I probably told McGuire because I don't think Andrew Garfield wants to. I don't know. Although Andrew Garfield is really funny, I think he would do well up against Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. I think I forgot.
So
Sorry,
maybe Andrew Garfield.
Someone made the comment saying Andrew Garfield would play well. Oh, you hear?
Yeah.
Lewis says Andrew Garfield would play well opposite of Ryan Reynolds, and I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah.
We have had a lot of great comic books, Spider-Man and Deadpool team ups, so I think that is in the realm of possibility. So I think I've only got one more question for you, Rob, and that is this a Christmas movie?
No.
It's Christmas time.
No, at the very end,
at
it's
the
like
diner.
months later.
Yeah, it's snowing, and I think when they're hopping universes or something, they play a Christmas song. Do they not? Yeah.
Yeah, when he's in the mirror universe, no, it's not a Christmas movie. Although I still maintain, if you remember, John, we were reviewing Hawkeye, and it was a finale, and I was convinced because the season finale of Hawkeye came out the week after this movie dropped, and I was convinced because Spider-Man in that beautiful new, like the Steve Ditko costume, at the end of the movie was dropping down towards the giant Rockefeller Center there with the giant tree. And we saw that tree in Hawkeye. I was convinced he was going to show up in the Hawkeye finale, man. I was like,
yeah.
I was disappointed that didn't happen. But that being said, no, it's not a Christmas movie. Not at all.
I feel like it definitely qualifies as all those other movies that kind of sneak in on the fringe.
No, it's definitely not. But can we just talk about that suit at the very end? How amazing was that costume, man?
Yeah. Now that I got to see it up close on the digital, it did look pretty good, and it is a nice note to end the movie on because we kind of went through so much sadness, and then you see him get his apartment, and a little kind of smile comes across his face, and then he runs out and does his Spider-Man thing. So,
that was a sad moment you didn't mention. Him being at May's gravesite.
Oh, the gravesite
comes up, and Happy doesn't know who he is, and he's like, you know, and he goes, nobody knows, he's all alone. Somebody else.
I think they lightened it up a little bit with kind of like looks at Happy, kind of like, is he going to know who I am? Or not? But okay. So what's up, Wildman Beyond? So he says the movie was saved when Maguire and Garfield showed up. So I'm curious to know if you maybe did not like the Tom Holland movies in general, because I feel like some people are in that position where they weren't super fans, and then the return of these two characters. But these two characters show up. We're about like an hour into the movie, right, Rob?
More than that.
Yeah, like
we're close to 2 hours. The movie is 2:45, so we're just almost at the 2 hour mark when they show up.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. I didn't realize there was so much time, and then there's a little bit of time there, and then the final sequence is like a good 50 to 60 minutes, I think, when they start hitting the Statue of Liberty. So the structure of this movie is kind of crazy. So he shouts out to Nicholas Hammond. So it feels like we need this guy. Did he cameo in anything? Did he show up in Spider-Verse or anything like that? Oh,
no. Yeah. No, we need him. Jonathan makes a good point.
Sorry.
Here we go.
I hit the same one as you. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Can we please talk about the best scene in the movie of Matt Murdock catching a brick? First of all, the Matt Murdock, like when that camera goes, pans over past the stick, and you're like, holy shit, and it's Matt Murdock. Like, yeah, that was great. I got to tell you, like, part of me wanted to see more of Matt Murdock in this movie. I'm glad we didn't. You always leave them wanting more, but man, that scene when that brick comes flying through and he catches it and it just shocks the shit out of Peter Parker was just amazing.
Yeah. Clever, very clever one-liner. Like, I'm a good lawyer. That's
yeah.
It's like, how'd you do that? I'm a good lawyer. So you guys go to law school and you'll be able to catch
bricks. I guess.
Sorry, I think my light in the background is blowing things out. That's what Gord's talking about. Anything else we should discuss on this movie, Rob? I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here.
No, man.
How many more times are you going to rewatch it this year?
I watched all the special features already.
Yeah.
And so, we've talked, I've said this a lot, John, with so many movies that come out and we have so many options. And like, I don't know about you, but I've got like more streaming services than I need. And every one of them has lists. I have lists of things I got to watch, or I have, it gets hard comparative to like the 80s and 90s and even the 2000s, John, before streaming, because you used to have just a handful of these movies that you would watch over and over again. This is definitely on my list of things that I'll watch fairly often, because I just think that there's this one above any of the other Spider-Man movies. Like I like Homecoming a lot because it's very John Hughesian for me.
Yeah.
Far From Home, I can take or leave it, to be honest with you. But No Way Home just has everything that I want out of a really cool storyline and a great movie. So I'm really down with No Way Home. Yeah. So I would watch this a lot.
It's got the spectacle bits, which are like kind of like all the big reveals, all the big stuff happening. But it's also got the little kind of like subtle things, like when Peter and his friends and all that stuff are trying to get into school, and kind of like the little stuff in between of them dealing with his whole identity reveals that aren't action scenes that are great to watch. So yeah, I think this is definitely 100% rewatchable. I don't think I've ever rewatched Endgame, and it is probably a movie of similar caliber to this one. But this one, I had no problem firing it up. I was a little concerned about the 2.5 hour runtime, but it flew by. Before I knew it, we were like halfway through the movie, and I was like, oh, I only got a little bit left. And then we hit the end credits, which Wildman shouts out the song. I don't recall what the song at the end of the movie was, but he's saying it's gonna catch on now. That now
I don't remember what the song was either, because I know that at the end of Far From Home, it was the Ramones, right? Or was that No Way Homeschool?
Homeschooled. That's what it would be called if it came out in the last 2 years. Spider-Man Homeschooled.
Homecoming. Homeschooled. I don't remember the name of that song. What song that was? But it's interesting, John, because we've had, I don't know, what are we at? 26?
De La Soul, magic number, maybe?
Oh, De La Soul, not Della.
Yeah.
De La Soul. We had
there's blending the L's. Anyways,
we had there's 26 somethings Marvel MCU movies and everything. Get out of here. But this is one of the ones that I would watch again repeatedly. So out of all those 26, like admittedly, I mean, we always talk about how much Winter Soldier, and I've watched that a fair amount. But dude, if I need something that just like throw on, like that's got all the beats that I need in a movie, I'm telling you, it's Infinity War for me. And this one just seemed to be like, if I'm throwing up any Marvel movie, like if I have 2.5 hours, I'm going to throw one of those ones on, man, because they're just so much fun.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments, folks, which Marvel movie you would watch or have watched the most. Is it this Spider-Man movie? For me, it's definitely Winter Soldier. I think I've watched that almost in the double digits now, and I'm sure I could fire it up right now, and I'd probably watch it all the way to the end. It's just something about that movie really hits for me. Shout outs to Howard the Duck in the end of Endgame. Hold on, Michelle, but hopefully they'll get to that movie or that TV show eventually. Oh yeah, no. Hey, Rob, what do you like better? Do you like Spider-Verse or No Way Home? I feel like you like No Way Home because animation is not as
no, but I've seen Spider-Verse a lot. Like that's another movie I just watched a little while ago. Like I'm actually really looking forward to the October when this first part Into the Spider Universe or whatever it's called, or the Into the Spider-Verse was the first movie, but this new one is
Out of the Spider-Verse? Edge of the Spider-Verse? I think it's called Edge.
Edge of the Spider-Verse? Yeah, part one or Matt. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I really like that movie.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Shout out to that movie. I think Stu would definitely pick that as his number one Spider-Man movie. I definitely picked this one right now. And I don't think anything could top it for me. I don't even know how they would ever top it in general. But anyways, so he shouts out the Ramones. De La Soul. De La Soul.
De La Soul.
De La Soul. All right, sure. Jesus Murphy?
Jesus. Look at this. Nobody. The original Thor is the one that Michelle's watched the most. Yowza.
Get out of here, Michelle. Really?
With the dyed eyebrows?
Hey, is there a reasoning for the original Thor? Is it because of Hemsworth, or is there just something about that movie that hits you, which is fine? I think I've only watched that movie once, and I've never even watched the second Thor movie, so maybe one day I'll get to it. All right, Rob.
All
Anything else we want to shout out before we wrap
No,
up some No
no,
Way Home? I feel like we could
it's
talk. We
Oh,
could
yeah,
talk
we
all
could
night
talk
about
hours.
this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. I think we got lucky that that last 3 months of 2021 gave us some really cool flicks, man. We got No Way Home, No Time to Die, and Dune.
You keep putting No Time to Die in there, but yeah, carry on. I'll let you do it. I'll allow it.
I'm telling you, buddy, you got to watch that movie again. I'm telling you, I think you'll enjoy it.
I don't know if I can do it again, man. I don't know if I could do it again.
I'm telling you. I think you'll find some great nuances in that movie that you will just really appreciate.
I'll definitely watch the Anna de Armas scene over and over again if you want. But I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe I will. Sitting in the comfort of my own home, watching some James Bond action. Yeah, maybe knowing the ending that comes with it. Sure.
As a person who's a big Bond fan, I was much easier to accept the ending on the second viewing than I did. Again, I saw that 2 or 3 times in the theater, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot all about Tom Hiddleston. So yeah, props to that movie for having both Tom Hiddleston and Tom Sawyer.
Yeah. Just bleached eyebrows.
Yeah. Hey, it's a good look. You should try it, Rob.
How do you know that I haven't?
Well, yeah, you should try it. I've always wanted to do the Vanilla Ice shaved eyebrow. You ever see that with the lines?
Boy.
You should definitely try it when your frosted tips come back. You should definitely do the eyebrow shave.
All right.
Ghostbusters Afterlife was a nice gem. Shout outs to No Time to Die sucks, in my opinion. Yeah, no, I'm fine. But Ghostbusters, definitely. A lot of people are just getting to Ghostbusters now.
Yeah, because it's on video on demand.
Did you watch Ghostbusters? And I'm like, yeah, man, I watched it when it came out. But yeah, oh man.
I don't know if Gordon's talking about not shaving your eyebrows or bleaching the under part of your backside, John, but don't do it regardless.
Hey,
Nobody wants bleached assholes.
If Sarah could dig up an old picture of Gord with the shaved eyebrows, I'd be thrilled to own that. And if you sell that as an NFT, I'd buy it.
All right, let's call it a night.
Yep. All right. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us. Thank you for rewatching No Way Home. Although I feel like you're gonna rewatch that anyways.
Yeah.
And own it or whatever if you've got your physical copy on the way. Curious to hear how that 4K version works out in physical versus streaming. Rob, anything we want to tease for next week, or are we gonna confer offhand? Are we gonna go to the 90s, or you want to stick in the modern a little bit more?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Rewatch. We should rewatch Dune.
There's a couple other things I'd rewatch, but yeah, we'll figure this one behind the scenes.
Steven Seagal's Hard to Kill is on Netflix. Everybody,
get out of town! No one watched that. No.
There's a scene. If you put on your Netflix, you see him waking up from the coma and his eyes are flickering, and that is Academy Award, Oscar gold acting right there from Sir
Academy
Steven
Award
Seagal.
Nominated Steven Seagal.
As he's flickering his eyebrows, waking up from a coma. Yes.
Oh my god.
All right. We'll probably do I guess we gotta finish off our 90s bracket. So
I feel like we might want to take a break. Like I said, there's a whole series of movies that John hasn't seen yet. So
all right, that's true.
We can stay in the modern. So definitely hit us up on socials, folks. Hit me up with a message, or hit Rob up with a message if you want us to check out some particular movie. Yeah, I think that's all we got for tonight, right, Rob? I'm not gonna fall off my chair today because it hurt too much last time.
And your wife got mad at you.
Oh, my wife was like, "What the f is going on up here?"
Oh, I know.
What kind of things are you recording that you're falling off chairs? Grown ass man falling off chairs. But anyways, I think we should alternate. So I fell off my chair this week. So this week, Rob should fall off his chair. No, not even bro.
Not even moving. I'm like an impossible movable force.
Immobile. He's the juggernaut, folks.
That's right. Juggernaut. I'm the juggernaut, bitch.
Okay, bad accents aside. Thank you, everybody. We'll check you out on the next one. Thanks for joining us.
See you guys.
Talk